found me out.
Orientation, but the view of all religious people I know has always been that sexual behavior is something that is up to you. And you said, I may have a desire to sleep with many women, but I do not.
I agree with me. Yes, that's true.
Congratulations on your, I'm sure it's very hard to restrain.
House Democrat Eric Swalwell completely embarrassed himself in this congressional hearing earlier today, and we will react to the full exchange in this video. But first, to lay the framework, essentially what is going on here is Ben Shapiro was testifying in front of Congress today. Now, Democrat Congressman Swalwell obviously thinks he can get his little theater kid gotcha moment where he grills Ben on all of the culture war issues, abortion, illegal immigration, gay rights, and firstly, it just doesn't go well for Swalwell. But beyond that point, I think it is important to note here that the actual subject matter of this hearing was supposed to be about big tech and responsible media, okay? So the reason I am pointing that out is not to say that it is not valid to have a political debate over abortion or illegal immigration or any of these things, but it is to note how performative and ridiculous our politics can be sometimes, because keep in mind, this is not them privately having a debate on Fox News or something. This is a congressional hearing. This time that Eric Swalwell is using is being funded by taxpayer dollars. The stated intent is to talk about tech and media and stuff like that, and instead he's trying to debate Ben Shapiro on abortion. Now, I don't know exactly how congressional hearings work. I don't know if there's certain decorum in place where the questions have to be in some way related to the subject matter. So maybe that's something I would bring up, but still, regardless, that is my greater issue with this, is these theater kid politicians who do nothing, it's all performative, just waste everyone's time on your taxpayer dollars to instead try to get a political campaign moment about abortion instead of actually talking about tech. And hey, if you want to make a liberal argument against Ben Shapiro's stance on big tech or on the usage of media or something, then that's relevant. This is not relevant. With that said, and with that in mind, folks, be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let's get into today's reaction clip. So here was the full exchange between Ben Shapiro and Eric Swalwell, not over the subject matter of this hearing, but 4 minutes and 36 seconds of taxpayer dollar funded time being wasted on a debate that also does not go well for Swalwell. Okay, take a listen.
You probably want less bureaucracy, right?
I do.
I want less bureaucracy. You want more efficiency?
I do.
I want more efficiency. You want...
Minor Freudian slip there. Just going to point that out, but okay. You know, jokes aside, all right.
Taxpayer money spent wisely?
I do. Congrats on becoming a Republican.
Yeah. Yeah. My parents would be proud. Mass deportations, it calls for that. Do you support that part?
I support the deportation of any illegal immigrant who's in the United States who is not of benefit to the generalized American public.
So if they're picking agriculture that puts food on the tables of everyday Americans, they've never committed a crime inside the United States, they didn't come across with documents, should they be deported?
If they have not paid taxes and if their draw on the taxpayer benefits are larger than the contribution they are making to the economy, or if they're involved in criminal activity, they should be deported.
How do we measure that?
The same way that the IRS measures my income every year. It seems like if the IRS can track down every aspect of every receipt that I've ever submitted, and
so
they can do so for hundreds of millions of other Americans, they can do that for illegal immigrants as well, except for the fact that no one knows how many are in the country thanks to this administration.
So you would be cool with creating a system where they could pay those taxes if they wanted to and then stay and work and put food on our table?
It depends on how long it would take for them to pay the taxes, and they would also have to go presumably to the back of the line, although I'm not sure why I'm testifying about immigration policy at this point.
Well, exactly on that last point. This hearing is not supposed to be about immigration. You know, I have a greater answer to that, and it's really that, you know, and this is a kind of a Democrat slogan they've been using as of late in regards to Trump, so let's use it here. No, actually, the reason illegal immigrants should be deported, forget economics even, it's because this is what they always say, we are a nation of laws. The laws must be upheld. The laws must be enforced. You're not allowed to enter the country without documents, illegally, obviously. Therefore, the laws currently on the books to deport people and to deny people the right to entry who do that, that is more than enough. But greater picture here, forget the illegal immigration debate. Let's again remember, the subject matter of this hearing has nothing to do with this. So just keep that in mind. Okay, Eric takes the mic, little theater kid like I said. And instead of asking him, Ben Shapiro, questions about, you know, using his time about big tech or media or Daily Wire or something, he's like, what do you think about illegal immigration? Watch where the debate continues next.
How about banning the abortion pill? That's part of Project 2025. Do you support that part?
I think that that's a state-by-state issue on a personal level.
Again, what does this have to do with big tech or media at all?
Sure, I'm a fully pro-life person, which means that I'm not in favor of the distribution of the abortion pill.
Banning same-sex marriage. What about that part?
I am in favor of traditional marriage between a man and a woman, and I am perfectly fine with anyone having any sort of voluntary sexual arrangement they seek. That's a different thing from whether the government should attach benefits to that personal relationship.
But you think it's a sin to have same-sex marriage?
I mean, I'm confused. Are you asking me as a religious Jew what I think about biblically?
I'm just asking, is it a sin to be gay?
Is it a sin to be gay? I mean, how long do we have here? 2 minutes? I mean, if the basic idea is that sexual orientation is up for government regulation, I'm not in favor of the government regulating the private consenting sexual activity of adults. That is a different thing, once again, from whether the government ought to engage in actual benefits for particular sexual arrangements that adults make.
So now he's asking Ben Shapiro about his personal and religious beliefs when we're having a debate about big tech and stuff. Again, we can talk about the substance matter, but I think that's the part people are forgetting the most. This guy is out here, this Democrat congressman who is very infamous. We sure remember a lot from, his glory days back in the Trump presidency the first time, but wasting everyone's time. I don't know why the chairman of this committee is not stepping in and saying, hey, are you going to ask questions about the subject matter today? But, that's what's going on.
Again, just you to me, is it a sin or not?
From a religious Jewish perspective, orientation is not a sin, but activity is. That's also the same perspective of most major religions, so far as I'm aware.
Okay. And how about cutting Social Security? Do you support that part of 2025?
I'm not sure what Project 2025's position on Social Security is. I'm in favor of the restructuring of Social Security along the lines of privatization and lowering and increasing the retirement age, because you, as well as every other congressperson, knows Social Security is going to go bankrupt, and yet everyone seems to have an interest in lying about it for the next decade and a half until we have to take austerity measures or radically increase inflation or taxes.
And bans against books about slavery. Do you support that part about?
Why would I possibly be in favor of bans about books about slavery? That would be absolutely ridiculous. What I am in favor of is the idea that school libraries should be able to make decisions along the lines of what exactly is appropriate for, say, a 7th grader and whether they ought to be treated to cartoons and genderqueer. That's not quite the same thing.
And just because we found some receipts, you did say, I think homosexual activity is a sin.
Yes, I'm a religious Jew, that's true.
There's a genetic component.
You found me out.
Orientation. But the view of all religious people I know has always been that sexual behavior is something that is up to you. And you said, I may have a desire to sleep with many women, but I do not.
I agree with me. Yes, that's true.
Congratulations on your, I'm sure it's very hard to restrain yourself. Mr. Chairman, I just want to shift to...
Very professional conduct. By the way, I really love the insinuation by Eric Swalwell, Project 2025, what do you think of this? That Ben Shapiro, of all people, is some type of big-time Trump sycophant. Because if we know anything about Ben Shapiro throughout the years, during this primary, during 2016, 2020 even, it's that he's the biggest supporter of Trump, and he's probably the one running everything for Trump behind the scenes. It's just kind of amusing to me, but this is what they do. But, at the same time, what's going on here? He's not doing the work of the government at all. He's not in any way trying to actually have this informational hearing on responsible media like the hearing was titled. No, he is campaigning for Joe Biden on the stage, and he's just using his government-allotted, taxpayer-allotted time to do so. So, maybe that needs to be considered. In my opinion, a highly inappropriate use of taxpayer funds. But what do I know?
Alvin Bragg, he was supposed to be here this week, and he's not coming. And Hunter Biden was supposed to testify. Now he's not testifying. We were supposed to have votes on articles of impeachment, and we didn't. And again, we're just wondering, you guys write great press releases, but the payoff seems to never come. And so I guess we will keep waiting, and we'll do hearings like this. And finally, Chairman, you cannot yell fire in a crowded theater, and that's a restriction on speech, as you have recognized before, but you can yell theater in a crowded fire, and you all can continue to do that all you want, and we'll just waste the American people's time.
The gentleman's time has expired, and I remind him of the first rule of holes. When you're in one, stop digging.
Okay. All right. At least the chairman of this committee brings up something. But Eric, what does that even mean? So he says, when you cannot yell fire in a crowded theater, but you can yell theater in a crowded fire. Did he think he went off with that? Did he think, oh my gosh, that was such an own? Nobody even knows what that means. Okay, but anyways, folks, I mean, there you basically have it. Long story short, we have Eric Swalwell, first of all, wasting everyone's time, and secondly, trying to campaign for Biden, trying to make this into a political debate, and failing to do that as well. Okay, so just total defeat on both fronts. And, you know, Eric does kind of say something true that, yes, the House GOP has not gotten a lot done. That's a valid criticism. We probably disagree on what they haven't gotten done, but sure, okay, I accept that point. However, Eric, it's kind of ironic to make that argument when you had this very poster behind you on stage in a hearing about big tech, right? Because that's very relevant here. You're the one making it performative. You know, just gonna point that out. Just gonna point that out. Okay, with that said, folks, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and until next time, Alpha Moves Only, God bless. Have a very great rest of your day. Peace.